and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video I'll be sharing some quickfire notes on Paper 1 Explorations in Creative Reading and Writing and specifically question 2. But first of all, let's just situate this whole paper with what it's worth. It is worth 50% of your English language GCSE and contains 80 marks that are up for grabs. It focuses on one creative fiction text and the expectation is that you spend 15 minutes reading and annotating that text. My top tip within that time is that you highlight the keywords in each question so you know what you should be specifically focusing on. It's very clear in many questions exactly what lines you need to consider. In this video though, we're concentrating on the major money marks that are associated with question 2, the language question. So question 2 concentrates on how you analyse language. And a typical question looks as follows. Look in detail at the extract from lines, as specified in the exam question, of the source. How does the writer use language here to describe a character's feelings towards? It's worth 8 marks, and so automatically I'm thinking that is 10 minutes of writing time. Bear in mind that some of your planning for this question will have come from your 15 minutes of reading time. And it's important that in your reading time you mark out the exact lines they ask for in this question. You're probably looking for it to be no more than 10 lines to be concentrating on, and your aim should be to identify what the key language is in that reading time so your actual response is quicker. A major setback for many students is actually getting started with their writing. So I have taken this opportunity in this video to give you some sentence starters that I would urge you to memorise in the run up to your exam so that you can actually just get going with your writing and thereby spend that 10 minutes actually writing quality points as opposed to trying to sieve through and find language devices in that time. To simplify our thought process when we look at a question like this, we're simply commenting on how the writer uses language to describe either a character's feelings or a situation. The 4 sentence starters I'm going to share with you now can be employed across each of your paragraphs, and in the 10 minutes of writing time I would be seeking to make 2 full paragraphs or 3. So my first thing is, as ever in English, we seek to make a point. And my point would involve the writer's use of either a device or a word class and what impression that gives me of what they've asked for in the question. Additionally, I would then delve a bit deeper by quoting what that word class is or what that simile was and suggest at that point what it can be implying. Next up, I then consider how it makes us feel or think and what it does for us as a reader. We have to always use that language of the writer in our point and the reader as part of our analysis. The big money marks, if you're seeking to be in the top band for this question, remain on the effect of that device on us, not just simply as readers, but across the whole source as we read it. The effect of this simile helps amplify the power between the 2 images they've used in their simile. So there's 2 things that immediately strike me as we consider what can be done with this question. Absolutely learn these sentence starters that I've given you. They're applicable to any possible question too. But I would urge you to now take it a step forward and start thinking about what language devices you would expect to see in a piece of fiction. For language to be juicy, we're expecting certain things. So here's what I would expect you to remember for question 2 ahead of your exam. You should be looking to find in the exact lines you were asked some of these devices. Could be repetition, alliteration, personification. You might zoom into the word level of the noun, the verb, the adjective. You could be looking to find a metaphor or simile or pathetic fallacy. This is not an exhaustive list, but should be looking for language devices so that you can then think of their effects. So another piece of preparation ahead of this exam could be thinking of what are the effects of these different devices so that were they to emerge in your exam, you know what they show. The big money marks also come from you commenting on the effect of the methods that the writer has used and the reader's reaction. My top tip also, as earlier hinted at, is that you just concentrate on the 10 or so lines that come up for this specific question. If you concentrate on lines from elsewhere in the text, you'll be capped at 0 because you have not answered the question adequately. Best of luck with question 2. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar?